We talk a lot about gun control here on this channel, but I don't recall a time where there's ever been a chance to do much about it, at least from our perspective. But there is right now, and I'll cut straight to the chase. It's pretty bad, but you can still stop it. So, if there's ever been a video to share and like to boost it in the algorithm on this channel, it's probably this one. I'm not asking for that because I want more subscribers. This is a genuine issue, and the period of time in which we can affect change is rapidly closing. So share this video to everywhere you possibly can, to anyone who cares about the Second Amendment or the Fourth Amendment, really, because Democrats and Republicans in the Senate are going to violate it pretty egregiously. Anyways, let's take a look at the actual bill itself.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you H.R. 7910. This is the gun control bill that has already passed the U.S. House of Congress and is moving into the Senate. Now, there is still time to stop this. There are 10 Republicans who are set to vote with this legislation, albeit there might be some changes, but I wouldn't hope for anything great. But this can still be shot down. I just need to say that right now. You can get this shot down. You need to bombard the call lines for the 10 Republicans who will go over, who are slated to vote in favor of this. But what is H.R. 7910? Well, Congress defines it as the Protecting Our Kids Act. In reality, it has almost nothing to do with kids. It has nothing to do with kids, and it has almost nothing to do with protecting people. So, let's go over what the contents of this egregious violation of the American Constitution is. There is Title I, raise the age. Title II, prevent gun trafficking. Title III, untraceable firearms. Title IV, safe storage. Title V, closing the bump stock loophole. And Title VI, keeping Americans safe. Title II just reinforces existing laws. It doesn't actually do anything new, and it doesn't do anything unconstitutional. Title VI is, Title VII is a summary. My problems with this bill, and the problems of any average American if they care about the Constitution at all, should come from Title I, Title III, Title IV, Title V, and Title VI. Because these are the parts of this act which are not only blatantly constitutional, but wholly and entirely aimed at pushing a Democrat-run gun control agenda on the American people before the midterms. I don't know if it's virtue signaling or if they plan to rig an election and then they don't want armed citizens coming after them for it. Whatever the case, that's what this is. So let's go over what is actually all represented here. Title I, raise the age. I could go through and read each individual part of this, but that would make this video astronomically long. So I'll just link this if you want to read the whole script of what is actually said here. But in essence, what you need to know about Title I is it raises the minimum age to buy any semi-automatic centerfire rifle or semi-automatic centerfire shotgun to 21 years of age and codifies it under other laws, meaning that it replaces language that says in other laws that you can be 18 and buy those weapons and ammunition for those weapons, and it replaces them with 21 years of age and specifically highlights semi-automatic centerfire rifle or semi-automatic centerfire shotgun. Now, to clarify what semi-automatic centerfire is, let me see if I can find, yes, here it is. So this is a 9mm bullet. What makes this different from a .22 bullet is that it has a primer. Now, normally on a .22 or a very small cartridge, it would have no primer. This entire plate would be just one plate. There would not be a divot in the center. So when it fires, it actually strikes the rim of that cartridge, and that's how it detonates the charge. But with a large cartridge, or at least anything bigger than .22, it's a little bit different because you can't just strike the rim. There's too much metal there to contain the charge. you need a primer. So that's called a centerfire cartridge, whereas a 22 would be a rimfire cartridge. So in essence, what this law is saying is any firearm or ammunition that can be incorporated into a rifle, like this 9mm, is hereby regulated and prohibited from being sold to anyone under the age of 21. And I just dropped a bullet. So this is now illegal for me to buy. Any rifle or shotgun that is semi-automatic and takes a feeding device of over 5 rounds, or even has the capability to accept magazines over 5 rounds, this is now illegal for anyone under the age of 21 to buy, with the notable exceptions of anyone who's working in the military and or government. So, rules for thee, but not for me. Anyone in the federal government who's 18 to 21 can still buy these, but all of us plebes can't, is essentially what the Democrats and these 10 Republicans are saying here. So, that's Section 1. Already bad enough. Already unconstitutional. Already a really, 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 really bad idea. But it gets worse. So, Title II, prevent gun trafficking. Again, you can read this if you want. There's a bunch of legal jargon in here. Essentially what this does is it reinforces gun control stuff that's already in place. And I wouldn't even call half the stuff gun control, because it's just like background checks and don't do anything stupid with your firearm, is essentially what this is saying. Title II is a red herring, in my opinion. And if there's anything that actually should pass from this entire act, it's just Title II. So, then we get to Title III, untraceable firearms. This part is where that comes into play. So, the Democrats have long struggled to impose any kind of regulation on guns that can be made at home, despite the fact that that's actually what the Second Amendment talks about if you read the context of when it was written. But that's a video for another time. What does this actually say? Well, Title III is essentially saying it's codifying, meaning introducing into law, restrictions that the Bureau of Alcohol, Firearms, and Tobacco, or the ATF, Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms, it's introducing and codifying restrictions that the ATF illegally installed into law, which essentially force any frame or receiver of a firearm. So I don't have a firearm here to demonstrate with, but basically the part which houses the mechanisms which allow the part to fire or the gun to fire, it's saying you can't make your own version of that. Blatant violation of the Second Amendment. Not only can you not make your own version of it, any piece that you can get has to have a unique government traceable serial number on it. Now, I've talked briefly before about the fact that serial numbers are next to useless in actually determining criminals, but they are helpful in determining lawful citizens who don't sell their guns and who has what gun. So essentially, this is going further and further into creating a federal gun registry. But they don't actually leave it there. They blatantly say they're creating a federal registry of firearms, because that's what's included under Title III, because they want to know who has what gun. In fact, they actually instruct the Department of Homeland Security to file a report to Congress every year in here, which describes every firearm sold, the demographics of everyone who purchased a firearm, specifically if they're a first-time gun purchaser, and to keep tabs on them, and to create a public database of all firearms in circulation around the United States. So it's a federal gun registry, and it outlaws the use of 3D printers to create ghost guns. That's Title III. Moving on, again, I could read all this, but it would make the video super long. I'll link it if you want to read it. Title IV, safe storage. This one isn't nearly as bad as Title I and Title III, but in my opinion, it should still be removed. To highlight a scenario that would happen under Title IV, let's say four guys broke into my house in the middle of the night. shot my mom and shot my dad. And then for some reason I was indisposed, and my brother breaks the lock to my dad's gun, grabs the gun, loads it, and shoots the 4 bad guys. Guess what? Under Title IV, the U.S. government is perfectly within its right to arrest my brother for murder and attempted murder, and put both of my parents away for 5 years and impose a $250,000 fine on each of them for allowing a firearm to be within the reach of someone under age of 18, and allowing someone under the age of 18 to gain access to the firearm, which is separate from it being even in reach of a child, gain access to a firearm, despite the fact that it's in blatant self-defense, right? So, again, this is just a way of summarizing what's in Title IV. You can go and read through everything that's here, but I just summarized what this thing does. In essence, everything in Title IV makes it hard for anyone outside of a family to gain access to a firearm. And within a family, if you're not over the age of 18, even in a self-defense situation and you gain access to a firearm, well, there's going to be serious legal consequences for that. That's Title IV. Then we get to Title V. Now, Title V is one that's not going to make a whole lot of sense to anybody who hasn't been in the 2A community for a while and hasn't been really up to date with all of the different lawsuits that have been filed by different pro-2A organizations like Firearms Policy Coalition and Gun Owners of America. This one is about regulating bump stocks and by extension forced reset triggers. In essence, this is just codifying all of the still legally debated and like lawsuit intensive stuff that the ATF did to regulate things like bump stocks and forced reset triggers. Now, what are these to the uneducated? What a bump stock does is when a semi-automatic rifle fires, there's recoil that's generated from it. And when this recoil hits the bump stock uses a spring mechanism to push the gun back, reset the user's trigger and trigger finger, and fire it again in a semi-automatic way. So the trigger is resetting every single time, but it's firing it so fast that it appears like it's going full auto. So it's full semi-auto, I guess you could say. So this is completely close. This is reclassifying that device as a machine gun and giving the ATF the power to classify literally anything else as a machine gun, which is regulated under the National Firearms Act and is a felony to own without the proper licenses and titles and taxes. It's just a pain. You can still get around this. It's not closing a loophole at all. It's just making things really, really, really difficult on citizens and giving a federal agency, which is already rogue, way more power than it ever should have had. So that's Title V. And Title VI is... What was Title VI again?
Magazine bans, that's what it is. So we've got section 601, definitions. And this is basically where they go through large capacity feeding devices. Ooh, scary. Means anything from a magazine, belt, drum, feed strip, helical feeding device, or similar device, including any device that can be joined or coupled together in any manner that has an overall capacity of, or that can be readily restored, changed, or converted to accept more than 15 rounds of ammunition, and does not include any attached tubular device designed to accept capable of operating only with 22 rimfire ammunition. So basically what they're saying here is we're banning anything over 15 round feeding devices that are anything bigger than 22 rimfire bullets, which are the smallest commercially available bullet, and basically are a plinking round. So they go on to go through even more restrictions and basically say that the sale, transfer, manufacture, possession of these is completely illegal, except for the ones that, were already bought and possessed before this went into law. I have more to say about that, but we'll go through that a little bit later.
importation, manufacture, sale, distribution, possession in the United States, other than for a department of the United States government, be it the military, the FBI, the ATF, yada yada yada. Any organization in the government that needs weapons like this, they can still get them. But us plebes in the public, no, we can't have them anymore. That's what this bill's saying. So, and it also makes you serialize new magazines that are made after this point. Like, you're already banning the sale, manufacture, possession, and any all of the above of these magazines, right? You're not doing that of the old ones, which weren't serialized, but now all the new ones that are produced have to be serialized. Do you think anybody's going to follow that? I don't know. It's just more Democrat lunacy. Now, what I do have to say about this section is they have done stuff like this before in California and New York. And again, they go back and retroactively say that all the stuff that was grandfathered in, all the stuff that was possessed before this went into effect and we said was legal, is now not illegal, and you have X amount of time to either destroy it or turn it in. That's where this usually goes. That's the Democrat playbook, and it's a shame that these traitorous Republicans are signing on to this. But speaking of those traitorous Republicans, again, Section 7 is basically nothing. I will link this page for anybody who wants to read these laws. But let's go over real quickly the 10 Republicans in the House which voted to allow this to pass. This is from Business Insider India. So we have Representative Brian Fitzpatrick of Pennsylvania, Rep. Anthony Gonzalez of Ohio, Rep. Chris Jacobs of New York, Rep. John Katko of New York, Rep. Adam Kinzinger of Illinois, and Representative Nicole Milotakis of New York. I'm probably butchering that name. Rep. Maria Salazar of Florida, Rep. Chris Smith of New Jersey, Rep. Michael Turner of Ohio, Rep. Fred Upton of Michigan, and those are the 10 representatives in the House which allowed this to pass. Now, the ones I'm about to show you are the ones you can still affect. There's a very slim window of time, but if you bombard their offices with hundreds of requests saying, stop this now, we will not vote for you if you go through with this, then there is still time to change this, and there is a possibility to have this heinous bill shot down. So, probably the one that's caught the most media attention for this absolute garbage, John Cornyn of Texas. You guys in Texas are doing a great job of persecuting this fellow for all of the stuff that he's doing with this bill. Rhino Republican, get this guy out of office. Tom Tills of North Carolina. Typical classic. He's been a Rhino, and he's been in the Senate for as long as, I don't know, as I can remember. Probably a great time to get this guy out too. Richard Burr of North Carolina. Roy Blunt from Missouri. Our favorite turtle, Mitch McConnell from Kentucky. Seriously, get this guy out of office. Another legacy one, Susan Collins from Maine. Lindsey Graham from South Carolina, another one who we all expected. Bill Cassidy from Louisiana. To literally no one's surprise, Mitt Romney from Utah. And finally, Joni Ernst from Iowa. Even though these 10 Republican senators lack any form of a backbone whatsoever, and have planned to betray their nation by voting for this terrible legislation, you, the viewer, you, the voter, can still stop this. Flood their inboxes. Bombard their call lines. Make your voice as a voter in this country heard, and reach out to these people and tell them that you, the voter, do not want this. Again, this is only a planned thing. They haven't done it yet, which means if Joe Manchin keeps to his regular anti-Democrat self and a combination of these senators vote against the bill, it can be filibustered, and that means it can be shot down in the Senate. So, this is the moment where we make our voices heard.
This is the moment where we shout at these Republicans, no, we do not want this. You, the voter, can make that happen. You, the voter, have the power to stop this. There is a rapidly closing window in which to do so, so act now. Again, all of the links to these Republicans' websites will be available in the description below, and there will be a live stream tomorrow with Abel Garcia and hopefully Therapy Range, in which we're going to discuss this bill and the ramifications of it further. So tune in for that around 2 p.m. Pacific time. But other than that, I guess, hey, if this goes through, I'm buying that AK sooner than I thought.